What if we told you that a man got the Medal of Honor, never touched a weapon, and still managed to rescue 75 soldiers from the battlefield? And that, well, it was just one thing he did within a 12-hour period. This is no ordinary man. This is a man who served in the US Army during World War II. His name? Desmond Thomas Doss. So what makes him stand out? Why was he awarded one of the highest honours in the military, even though he refused to carry a weapon? Let's find out. Desmond Doss was born on February 7th, 1919 in Lynchburg, Virginia, just 1 year after the Great World War I came to an end. His father, William, worked as a carpenter and had served in the army during the war, earning a Silver Star for his bravery, and was later affected by post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. For those who don't know, PTSD is a condition that can happen if someone goes through something really scary or harmful. In William Doss's case, traumatic events at war. Desmond's mother, Bertha, was a hard-working homemaker and shoe factory worker who raised him with strong beliefs as a Seventh-day Adventist. She taught him the importance of keeping the Sabbath, practicing non-violence, and following a vegetarian lifestyle. Desmond went to school at the Park Avenue Seventh-day Adventist Church until he finished 8th grade. After that, he got a job at the Lynchburg Lumber Company, a paper mill, to support his family during the hard times of the Great Depression. As World War II was approaching, Desmond worked at a shipyard in Newport News, Virginia, making wooden frames for ships. At that time, he had no idea how much his life was about to change. On April 1st, 1942, Desmond Doss joined the army at Camp Lee in Virginia. He was soon sent to Fort Jackson in South Carolina, where he trained with the 77th Infantry Division. While Desmond was learning the ropes of being a soldier, his brother Harold was on another kind of adventure aboard the USS Lindsay. Even though most soldiers were trained to carry weapons, Desmond refused because of his strong beliefs as a Seventh-day Adventist. He believed in peace and could not imagine taking a life. Because of his strong convictions to the Ten Commandments, he was verbally harassed in boot camp. He was bullied by other soldiers and even commanding officers. They took his things at night and ostracized him. Attempts were even made to discharge him for mental illness. They could never build a case against him, and he refused to leave. Instead, he had planned to become a medic, believing that he would not have to carry a weapon and would only help the wounded. With his new role, Desmond joined the 2nd Platoon, Company B, 1st Battalion, 307th Infantry, ready to save lives with his courage. So in 1944, he was shipped out, entering into the bloodiest battles of World War II's Pacific theatre with nothing to protect himself except his Bible and his faith in God. As a medic, he was determined to save lives without using weapons. The men who threatened to kill Doss in boot camp quickly realised the value of their Bible-wielding medic. For his bravery in treating wounded men under fire during the fighting in Guam, Doss was awarded a Bronze Star for his valour. After Guam, the 307th Infantry Regiment fought at Leyte. Again, Doss showed his dedication to his comrades and bravery in combat by volunteering to go into the battlefield, under fire, and rescue the wounded. He earned another Bronze Star for his actions in Leyte. But, my friends, this is just the beginning. By the time Doss arrived with his unit on Okinawa, any reservations his fellow soldiers had about his beliefs had turned to respect. They knew Doss was there for them and would run into enemy fire to save them at the risk of his own life. The Battle of Okinawa took place at the Maida Escarpment in April 1945 on a dangerously high 400-foot cliff known as Hacksaw Ridge. Over a span of years, the Japanese built traps and hidden dangers like machine gun nests and booby traps. It was really important to capture Hacksaw Ridge to win the battle, but many saw the mission as nearly impossible. The 307th Infantry Regiment moved in with A Company, and they were almost all killed. So B Company went in with what was left of A Company's soldiers. It was so devastating that they were ordered to fall back. Yet when Doss's battalion was ordered to retreat, he didn't abandon his fellow soldiers. Instead, he stayed and risked his own life to save as many of them as he possibly could. He had to face a barrage of heavy machine guns and artillery fire, yet Desmond Doss courageously charged alone into the heart of danger, the dreaded kill zone. Even in such conditions, his mission was clear: save the wounded, no matter the cost. So Doss carried the hurt soldiers to the edge of the dangerous cliff. He lowered each one down safely, using only ropes and his strong will. All through the night, he kept praying, "Lord, please Please, help me get one more. With this amazing bravery and faith, Doss achieves something miraculous. Even while taking mortar fire amidst the rescues, Doss shielded the men with his own body. One story claims that Doss had to kick away a grenade. Another grenade left him with 17 pieces of shrapnel in his body. Despite this being injured, and at the constant threat of death, Doss refused to evacuate. If you've seen the movie, and it is a very good movie, it actually downplays his heroism. By his count, he saved around 75 men from certain death. But by those alongside him, they estimated maybe 100 or even more had their lives saved by Doss. For a full 12 hours after battle, Doss remained alongside the men he pulled from the battlefield, treating their wounds. You might think that Doss was immortal because he was doing all this with incredible bravery, but it wasn't the case. During the battle in Okinawa, he got hurt 4 times. Despite these injuries, his determination never wavered. While being carried back on a stretcher to safety by fellow soldiers, a sniper's bullet broke his left arm. You might be thinking he went back for medical treatment, but you'd be wrong. He got off of the stretcher and told his comrades to help others. He then fashioned a splint for his shattered arm using a rifle stock and crawled 300 yards to an aid station on his own. Doss was later taken to a hospital ship called the USS Mercy to get medical care. For his unbelievable courage and the sacrifices he made to save others, President Harry S. Truman presented Doss with the Medal of Honor, the United States' highest military award. He was the first conscientious objector to receive the honor. So despite not carrying a weapon and facing numerous challenges, Doss was able to achieve something that many would call impossible. To appreciate Doss's incredible courage and bravery, there have been some television series and movies made about him. He was the focus of a 2004 documentary called The Conscientious Objector, made by Terry Benedict. Later, in 2016, his amazing story was brought to the big screen through the movie Hacksaw Ridge. This film, also produced by Terry Benedict and directed by Mel Gibson, starred Andrew Garfield as Doss. Garfield's performance was so good that he even got nominated for an Academy Award. That same year, in November, a TV show called It Is Written featured Doss in a series of 3 episodes, further celebrating his inspiring life and achievements. You might be wondering what happened to Desmond Doss. Well, after his time in the military, Desmond Doss hoped to become a carpenter. Unfortunately, he couldn't follow his dream because his left arm was permanently damaged from the sniper fire. Not long after, in 1946, he learned he had tuberculosis, which he got while on Leyte. It took 5.5 years of treatment, during which he lost a lung and several ribs, before he was finally released from the hospital in August 1951 with a 90% disability. Life threw more challenges his way when, in 1976, he became completely deaf because of antibiotic toxicity. Later on, in 1988, a cochlear implant helped him hear again. Despite all these hardships, Doss didn't let them stop him. If we talk about his personal life, Doss married Dorothy Pauline Schutter on August 17, 1942, and together they had a son named Desmond Tommy Doss Jr., who was born in 1946. Following in his dad's footsteps, Tommy became an army medic too, and later worked as a firefighter and paramedic, showing bravery, just like his father. Growing up as Doss's son, Desmond Jr. often heard the stories of his father's bravery during the war. Although he knew every detail of these tales, he still had a question for his dad about that fateful battle in Okinawa. He remembers once asking, "What on earth were you thinking?" with a laugh, but he never received the answer he was hoping for. Desmond's father always wanted to give credit to God for his actions and never talked much about his own bravery. Desmond Jr. still wonders if his father truly realised the danger he was in, especially when he stood up in the middle of a storm of bullets. A few years later, on November 17, 1991, Dorothy died in a car accident while Desmond was taking her to the hospital for cancer treatment. But love found Desmond again, and he married Frances May Duman on July 1, 1993. Desmond lived a full life, and on March 23, 2006, he passed away at his home in Piedmont, Alabama. Desmond was laid to rest on April 3, 2006, in the Chattanooga National Cemetery in Tennessee. 3 years later, his second wife, Frances, also passed away on February 3, 2009. So this was the incredible life of Desmond Doss, a man who showed us that courage and faith alone can conquer the most deadly situations. No, he didn't carry a gun, but he saved more lives than most soldiers who did. He showed that it is not all about taking the lives of the enemy, but also about saving the lives of those in need. Let us know in the comments if you've seen the movie. If you found the video informative, please like and share it with your friends and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Make sure to watch one of my other videos here. You won't regret it.